Sandy and I both have a wonder about the world, and we think that revitalizes you. If you go out and you start your day to see what kind of adventure, what kind of wonder are we going to experience, it gives you energy. And we would come in at night saying, wow, this has never happened. We've never done this before. And we've traveled all over the world. And it's just, you just got to have an awe or a wonder about your being. That just revitalizes a person.
Welcome to Zestful Aging, where I speak with fascinating people from all over the world, from every walk of life, who will inspire you to live with zest. I'm your host, Nicole Christina, and my mission is to bring you optimism about aging and help you make full use of the new opportunities that only come at this stage of life. To find out more about the podcast, hop on over to zestfulaging.com. And while you're there, sign up for my weekly email newsletter, The Insider, where you will get fun and quirky tidbits about the show and my exploits, including when I went python hunting in Florida and my participation in the National Senior Games. And if you love the podcast, I'd be grateful if you shared it with your friends. Our music is courtesy of Judy Banker, who was a previous guest on the show. Find out more at judybanker.com. And our technical director is Stephen Litweiler. Zestful Aging is all about being adventurous, and that's why I'm planning a once-in-a-lifetime trip to Finland, and I'm inviting you, my listeners. Why Finland? Well, it's been named the happiest country on the planet for the 6th year in a row, and if you like nature and design, you are in for a real thrill. We're going to start out in Helsinki with our private guide and work our way up to Lapland, where we will be treated to the Aurora Borealis and some of the most magnificent nature on the planet. There will be saunas, wildlife, snowshoeing, reindeer sledding, local food, and some of the cleanest water and air on the planet. We will learn what makes Finns so happy and how we can bring some of that back with us. Will it be cold? Yep, that's part of the adventure. The dates are January 22nd, 2024 to January 29th, 2024, and space is extremely limited. Find out all the details on my website, zestfulaging.com. I can't wait to meet you and share this once-in-a-lifetime experience. Well, many of us love to travel or even dream of traveling now that we may have a little more time. But imagine going around the world in 80 days at 81 years old with your best friend. Sandy and Ellie have become media stars, and they have shared their adventures traveling all over the world in every continent. They plan the whole trip themselves, and they insist on going economy class. No frills for these women. We're going to talk about some of their adventures and what they can share with us about being adventurous and aging zestfully. Welcome to the show, Dr. Sandy Hazelit and
Yes.
Eleanor Hamby. So great to have you with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I want to start because, you know, this whole Saturday Night Live thing. I mean, you must really know you've arrived when Michael Che is making a joke about the two of you. What was that like?
Well, we thought it was hilarious, and we were very surprised when we found out about that. But yes, and people have told us, well, you are now really, that's the ultimate. If Saturday Night Live roast you, then what else is there?
That's right. Right. And, it strikes me as learning a little bit about both of your backgrounds. You're both actually very much humanitarian focused, if I
Correct.
understand
That's
it
correct.
correctly. And you met, am I right, doing some work,
Yes.
humanitarian work in Africa?
Yes, we became friends when in Zambia, Africa. Ellie and her husband were the directors of the Zambia Medical Mission, and Ellie is still one of those directors after she lost her husband. And I'm a physician, and so I go on those trips, and that's how I met Ellie, and that's how we became good friends.
Is that what started your traveling, doing this humanitarian work, or had you been recreational travelers before you became involved in the Zambia project?
Well, I'm going to let Ellie answer that first, and then this is
Okay,
Sandy, and I will answer after Ellie.
sure.
Actually, the first trip we did together like that was the medical mission. And then after my husband died, then Sandy moved her practice here in Abilene, and she still kept her home 60 miles away in Eastland, Texas. And so 2 months after Kelly had passed away unexpectedly, Sandy calls me one day and she says, I need a place to stay. I've got this really good deal for you. I need a place to stay a couple nights a week because I'm working in Abilene, but I don't want to move here. So I just needed a couple nights to stay, places to stay. So if you'll give me a bed for a couple nights a week, I'll take you out to eat. Well, that was 18 years ago. It was last night, so it's still working. Okay. And that's how we both started really planning our trips. That's when we started taking the other trips. Our first trip was to the Trans-Siberian Railway.
One of the things that we've learned, and I'm sure you're aware of it, is as we get older, one of the things that keeps us vital are our friendships.
Absolutely.
Is that what you're finding in terms of the two of you and your relationship?
Yes, ma'am. This is Dr. Sandy, and I totally agree with what you're saying. Friendships are so important for good physical health and mental health because that all works together, and being alone is not healthy. So Ellie and I have been so blessed to have each other's friendship. We're both very positive in our outlook on life, and that's really helpful because we don't drag each other down. We just build each other up, and that's just been a really great blend of our friendship together. And it's just been, I just can't imagine how our lives would be if we didn't have this friendship that we have. And actually, we noticed that on our social media, particularly TikTok, because it was amazing when you looked at the thousands of comments they made. I would say 95% were, I want a friend like that.
Oh, so it's
Friendship. It was all about a friend.
About the beauty and what's interesting is, of course, you've been to every wonderful location, and we'll get into that and the continents and all that. But it sounds to me like part of the beauty of this was having someone that you love to share it with.
Absolutely. You are so right. I've said many times, besides Ellie's humanitarian work, she is also a documentary photographer. And to just watch her get so engrossed in taking pictures of a culture and people of that culture, that is so fun to just witness that.
What does it look like, Sandy? How do you observe that?
She is aware of nothing else going on in the world around her. There could be a freight train coming toward her and she would be taking her photo. Well, there was a trolley coming in Turkey one time. I'm standing out in the middle of the street I thought was this great photo, and all of a sudden someone grabs me, and there's Sandy, and there's a trolley car coming right at me. And
that's engrossed. Yeah, that's engrossed.
Yeah. So she did maybe save my life. But normally she's having to hold the equipment and things like that. But yeah, we do. We do enjoy the traveling together, and I can't imagine traveling around the world with anyone else but Sandy.
No. And you both you both have this sensibility that we don't want to be sort of wined and dined in a luxury tour. Tell me about your thrift.
Well, our average hotel is that we spent on this around the world trip was $29 a night per person.
And does it ever get to the point where you say, okay, maybe next time 2-star?
I know, actually, it's very interesting. You should say that. We don't stay in those low-starred rating hotels. People don't realize that all over the world, there are these phenomenal places to stay that have like 4 or 5 star, but they're very reasonable, but they're not a big fancy international hotel. It's a little inn here or this place, because what we do is we use an online booking company. And that we found, actually it's booking.com. They should pay us for all the
they certainly should. I just used them for actually a wonderful B&B in the Netherlands, and it was
So what we do is the first thing we do is we go on there and we put where we want the place to be located, where we want our accommodation. That's the number one. If you don't have a good location, it may be 5-star, whatever, but if it's not a good location, you're wasting your time, your energy, and all that. So we first picked a good location. Like we went in Santiago, we knew we wanted to stay around the old square, the plaza. And so that was number one. Then we put in ratings, number 2. It has to be above an 8.
I see.
And then now we've narrowed it down to the location. We've narrowed it down to the rating. And then we put in price, sort those by price. And then we make our call from there. And that's how you find those gems.
And you're a bit flexible, right, for dates?
Well, not this trip. We were pretty set because we had our flights.
We had all of our itineraries, so we had to have that was pretty set. But actually, by choosing those that are lower priced but still have the good rating, because many tourists are reluctant to stay and try out those lower priced things. When we get there, oh my goodness, the owners of those places or the managers, they are just awesome. They're so thrilled we're there, and
they know you're celebrities?
No. They just like that we're staying. No, they don't. No, they didn't know we were anything like that.
Just the fact that we're from the United States and we are staying in their little inn, their little cabana. They are delighted that we trust them.
Yes. And that's where we found more. They're extremely helpful. And the other big thing that we always use is wherever we're staying, then we email them and say, hey, do you recommend, we're wanting to go snorkeling in the Great Barrier Reef. What local company do you recommend? And so that's, you get if you're dealing that way, your price is much better. And plus they're very reputable.
And I hear also this openness and this connection of, let me get to know these people.
Oh yes, we love the fun things. So the place we stayed in Egypt, and that was the cheapest we stayed in, and probably a phenomenal place, but not everyone would be comfortable there. It was $13.50 a night with $1 million view overlooking the pyramids, but we had to go in an alley, and there was a gate that was locked. And what it was, this was a 6-story home. The parents had died, and all the sons, they turned it into an inn type of thing, not a hotel. There was no lobby or anything like that. And I mean, it was great. And the rooms were always every room we stayed in was clean. Yes. And so, but not everyone is comfortable doing that.
How are the two of you about trying local foods?
We always eat the local foods, honey.
What's the local specialty? That's what we want.
You really want a very different experience than someone coming to stay at the Hilton and
never go to an American chain ever when we travel. No. We want local places.
Hi, everyone. Have you listened to my interviews with Dr. Bill Rawls? He's been on the show twice, and after I read his book on cellular health and learned about his high standards for quality control, I was sold. I placed an order for Vital Plan supplements immediately. And I encourage you to learn about his work by hopping over to vitalplan.com. If you enter Zestful15, they will give you 15% off your first order. I'm excited for you to try these products. I think you're going to be very impressed. Now back to the show. One of the things that many people will say is the preparation is half the fun, reading about it, planning it. Is that something that the two of you do also when you've decided, like, we want to go to the Great Barrier Reef? Do you do a lot of research about?
This is Sandy, and I'm the one that likes to do the research about places and make sure that we know any particulars about the locals, and so that's fun for me to get to do that. And then I put that on our little daily journal that we have. And so.
Mm-hmm. But we did a lot of planning. And we used on our flights, we actually used One World Alliance. They have One World, that's American, British Airways, Qantas, Qatar, and several other airlines, but they offer an around the world ticket, and there's varying levels of it. And the highest level, which is the most expensive, but still it's quite reasonable if you're used to traveling, you realize it is. Mm-hmm. They offer 6 continents and 16 segments, flights. And you have to circumnavigate the world in one direction, crossing both oceans. But we fit all of that, and and that was our basis for the trip. And then we filled in with flights within countries and things through travel miles. And if we couldn't do travel miles, we had to purchase a ticket online.
Yes. And so regarding this One World Alliance, they have this set fare, but they don't choose the itinerary. The passenger gets to choose their own itinerary.
I see.
Yeah, we got ours all ready and turned it all in, and we'd already checked all the flights. We knew which airlines we could fly on, and actually then they have to send it in to see if we fit all the criteria. The first time we did it, we didn't, and we quickly learned from that, but that's just the learning process. This is how we do it. So that worked out really well to do it that way. But the biggest one is the six flights. 6 continents, 16 segments, and it goes down to 3 continents and fewer segments and things. So,
wow,
really
that's really that is, yeah. One of the other things that I'm curious about, and I know you've been asked before, but like, even when you get along famously, everything's great, travel can be sometimes stressful, right? Sometimes things are unpredictable, or your flight gets canceled, or you're really jet lagged. How did the two of you work out any tensions or disagreements that normally would pop up with two human beings?
Well, actually, the reason that Ellie and I were able to travel 80 days together, we had already made some international trips that lasted 2 or 3 weeks a few years ago. So we knew each other's personalities and idiosyncrasies. And as adults, we respect each other. So one of my rules is you take Pepto-Bismol every morning on an empty stomach when you travel.
Mm-hmm.
And so Ellie respects that, and she does that too.
Yeah.
And so, and I respect the fact that that we are going to be at the right place at sunrise for the perfect picture, and the right place at sundown for the perfect picture. And I respect that. So understanding the person you're traveling with and giving them freedom, both sides, that just solves the problem. And as far as the jet lag, what our statement was: people get tired when they go on vacations. we were not on a vacation. We were on an adventure. And the adventure just revs you up for the next adventure.
And that's both of you have that adventurous
Yes.
spirit.
Very much
believe
so.
me, Ellie has it even more so than Sam.
Sounds like your mantra is, yes.
Absolutely. It's always because you'll never regret saying yes. You might regret saying no. And then what if we had done that? So basically our answer is almost always yes. I mean, we're not going to go skateboarding. Okay. We really don't ride bikes anymore because we never were bike riders. There's certain things we will say no to, but try to be a little sensible. But for the most part, if an adventure's out there and we think we can do it, it's going to be yes.
It's going to be yes. And we were talking off mic about my planning my trip to Finland, and you were talking about, we're taking a husky sled ride. Of course we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that opportunity was just there. They said, we were out there. That you want to do it? We looked at each other and said, yes, we'll do this.
Was there any
fun one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Was when we were in Bali, and in Bali we'd contacted the little hotel resort, which is what a wonderful place, and it was like $28 a night a person, phenomenal. And we asked them about getting a car and driver because we'd heard that's quite reasonable in Bali, and so they said yes, they would organize it. And so we had a car with a driver, and he was a driver guide combination, spoke very, very good English, and it was $50 a day. Well, 8 hours a day. And he would take us whatever we wanted to do, and had all these suggestions. We're driving up to the mountains there in Bali, and we passed this sign that says Happy Swing. And we said, wow, what's that? Turn around and see what Happy Swing is. Well, I don't know if you've seen us on the red dresses, on the swings.
Yes, I have.
That was just a spur of the moment thing, and it was so fun.
Absolutely.
And nothing planned. We just did it, and we
you
just
look so happy. There's just so much joy coming from both of you.
Yeah. We have fun, and we express our fun in our faces too.
Yes. I was wondering if you had for more mature travelers any advice. I know we were just talking, Ellie and I were talking for a moment about packing, and it sounds like you have some ideas about the best way to pack.
Well, as light as possible. Number one, you will regret carrying some of the things you're going to carry, and if you really need something, you can buy it in almost any place in the world. So go light. Absolutely go as light as possible and carry light luggage.
And on the 80 days we traveled, not many people saw us more than 4 or 5 days in a row. So we only needed 4 or 5 different outfits.
Yeah. I think we had 4 was what we had.
And do you hand wash?
Yes, we hand wash.
Ever so often we used a laundry service, particularly in countries where it was very reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
And occasionally a hotel had a washing machine and a dryer for their guests. So there were various ways that we took care of the laundry, but it was easy to just wash out the underwear every night.
Yep.
Clean that up, and so.
Yep. So I see how that goes. What about walking shoes? Do you have particular kinds of requirements for good shoes and that kind of thing?
Absolutely. Ellie has a brand that is perfect for her feet. I have a brand that is perfect for my feet.
Mm-hmm.
And so we each took one pair of hiking boots for certain terrains, and then one pair of good walking shoes. And
that was it.
And you don't have to do dress up because that's not your jam. No,
we're not going anywhere that requires dress up.
I see. I know there must be thousands and thousands of memories. Any particular ones stand out for you right now?
Well, I think Ellie would love to tell you about when we were in the train station in Japan. It's a beautiful story and it's a fun story.
Yeah, one of the things Sandy and I both say, it's about the goodness of humanity. And we are strong believers that people are good. And people are just like you and I, and we have all of the same needs, the same desires and things. But really, there is goodness in people, and we see that happening over and over again. So we arrive in Japan. Now, Japan is the most modern place we've ever been in our life. It was like, oh my goodness, we couldn't even figure out how to flush the toilet in Japan. I was like, oh dear, look at all these buttons and whatever. So, but we're always going to conquer. We're going to conquer. That's our motto. We will conquer this. Now we get to the train station in the second largest Shinjuku train station in the world. 3.5 million people pass there every day.
Oh,
so we're at every one of those 3.4 whatever, except for the two of us, we knew exactly where they were going. Everybody's just organized, just amazing. We had not a clue. We were trying to go to Mount Fuji. And so we're standing in the middle of the train station, just looking at everything in Japanese, and we had no idea what to do. And this young man comes up to us and he says, I know you. Well, we had on our shirts that say around the world, we had each taken a couple of those shirts that we wore a lot. And he says, I know you. And he said, I'm Ziggy from Slovenia. And I read about you in the London Daily Mail.
Oh my God.
And he said, and here we are in Japan together. And he said, but it looks like you all are having a little trouble.
A little perplexed.
Yes. And we said, we definitely are perplexed because we want to go to Mount Fuji and we just can't for the life of us figure out how to get a ticket. He said, I'm going to drop everything I'm doing, where I was going. It's not that important. I'm going to make sure you all are able to get your ticket to Mount Fuji. And so Ziggy from Slovenia, he was a young man in his late 20s, early 30s. And so Ziggy from Slovenia took us all around, and he knew he'd been to Japan before. He knew exactly how to do it. And we got our ticket to Mount Fuji. So that was just a really, really fun experience. And it just showed again the goodness of humanity.
But I think that, I totally agree, but I also imagine that you're giving off an aura of, we're also nice people. You're not coming in as ugly Americans, like somebody better help me and, being obnoxious. You're coming in with a humility.
And a smile. Always smile.
We're big believers in making eye contact and smiling at people. Nod your head and everything is good.
But those are, it seems simple, but so important, right?
Oh, absolutely. We've always had the philosophy, if there's a problem at the counter when you're checking in and all the things are all messed up with your flights, smile. Just smile and be nice, because that agent's controlling your life, basically.
That's right. It's better honey than vinegar.
Absolutely. And it's amazing what it will do. It really will. Just if you get angry and sometimes they're just really bad situations, but for the most part, just smile and the problem will get worked out.
That's so important. And I think also remembering how fortunate we are, to be able to do these adventures, and that can be helpful too, to remember our privilege.
Yes, absolutely.
Anything else you'd like to say to our audience who are listening all around the world?
Absolutely. I want to encourage all of your listening audience, get up out of your easy chair. Step out of your comfort zone. Make some plans and live, because
age is just a number.
So you're saying that you really, the engagement and the vitality is the most important.
Absolutely.
And
mindset. Yeah.
Okay, one of the things that people have commented is that you guys, for 80 days, every day, we were either flying or we were on an adventure. We never one day stayed in the hotel rooms thinking, well, we're just too tired.
No.
Because Sandy and I both have a wonder about the world, and we think that revitalizes you. If you go out and you start your day to see what kind of adventure, what kind of wonder are we going to experience, it gives you energy. And we would come in at night saying, wow, this has never happened. We've never done this before. And we've traveled all over the world. And it's just, you just got to have an awe or a wonder about your being. That just revitalizes a person.
I can't agree with you more, that looking for the awe, and it can be the tiniest thing. It doesn't have to be a national wonder. It can be like a little trillium flower that's growing in the forest.
And Sandy sees those all the time. She's like, oh my, look at that. Yes, I guarantee you Sandy stands in awe. My problem is I have my camera and I forget to stand in awe of things. But Sandy's standing there like, whoa, do you see that flower? Yes, that is absolutely gorgeous. Now I've got to get a photo of it.
You're getting it from both directions. That's a beautiful thing. Well, we know it changes your brain. We know it's so healthy. It's like the magic sauce.
Yes.
Oh, well, I know people, if they're not already following you, ladies, they will want to. So where's the best place for them to find you?
Well, we're on Instagram, Around the World at 80. On Facebook, it's Sandy and Ellie. And TikTok, I think it's Around the World at 80. But Around the World at 80. And our blog, we have a blog which they might enjoy reading, and that's aroundtheworld80.com. And it's not the @ sign, it's Around the World AT 80. 80.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, if they just type in Sandy and Ellie, they will be surprised.
Isn't that something? You are at the top of the Google search, ladies.
Oh, it's crazy.
It is a beautiful thing. And I so appreciate you sharing your enthusiasm and lust for life with us today. It's been such a pleasure.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting us.
Yeah, we've enjoyed talking to you. It's great.
Thank you so much for joining us on Zestful Aging. If you like the podcast, please share it with some of your friends. If you think decluttering could help you feel better and you could use a little assistance with that, check out the online course I've developed with professional organizer and designer Carrie Luderin. It's called Too Much Stuff. And Too Much Stuff is different from other courses or articles or guidance you may have used up. We give you clear steps to deal with the clutter and the tools to help you face the overwhelming feelings and the emotions that come up when we're going through our clutter. And a lot of those emotions are just feeling anxious or guilty or just basically flooded with a lot of different confusing feelings. The course is really practical. It's realistic. The lessons are short and punchy, and they're really manageable. We're not trying to set you up for some long exploratory, super in-depth, burdensome experience. We want something really helpful for you right now. We all need help with our anxiety. So being surrounded by more calm and less chaos can really help. So now's a good time to clear out the clutter so we can focus on what's really important in our lives. So find out more at zestfulaging.com. You'll see more about this under the web courses tab. If you have any questions, just shoot me an email at zestfulaging@gmail.com. Thanks so much. And stay tuned next week for another interview with a fascinating and inspiring guest.